everyone. Let's start our session by closing to our prayer. So, please bow your heads. Dear God, we thank you for this new day and the opportunity to learn and grow together. Bless us with focus, understanding, and curiosity as we explore new lessons. Guide us with Guide us with kindness and wisdom. Amen. So, do we have absence today? None. So, that's great. So, now that we are ready, let's energize ourselves with a quick game. So, I'll show you a series of jumbled letters on the board. And your task is to rearrange the letters to form a biology-related term. And it is related to our today's lesson. So, are you ready? So, for our first jumbled letters, So for our clues, these are the individuals that contribute genetic material in sexual reproduction. Yes, Miss Reyes. Correct. The jumbled letter is parents. So sa the next jumbled letters, Mr. Nacario. That's correct. Offspring. So for the last jumbled letters, yes, Miss Piñaranda. Good job. It's reproduction. So, great effort, everyone. So, these words are clues to what we are learning today. Can anyone guess what today's topic might be? Very good. That is reproduction. So, our objective for today is to differentiate between asexual and sexual reproduction in terms of the number of individuals involved and the similarities to offspring to parents. So let's dive into our lesson on reproduction. And as we have as we have already discovered in the warm-up, reproduction is the process by which organisms create offspring ensuring the continuation of their species. So today, we're focusing on two main types of reproduction, asexual and sexual. So let's break this down step by step. So the first is asexual reproduction. It is a process where an organism produces offspring without the involvement of another organism. So this means only one parent is involved and the offspring are genetically identical to the parent. And it is almost like clones. So now, why do you think it is possible for offspring to be identical in asexual reproduction? Yes, Mr. Reyes. Exactly. Since there's no genetic material from another parent, the offspring the offspring inherit all of their traits directly from the single parent. So let's look at some examples of asexual reproduction. So the first example is bacteria. It reproduces by a method called binary fission. This is when one bacterial cell splits into two identical cells. And second one is Hydra, a small aquatic organism, and it reproduces through budding. A tiny bud grows on the parent Hydra, and eventually breaking off as a new individual. So for the last example is plants like strawberries. It can reproduce asexually through runners, and these are horizontal stems that form new plants. So to make this clearer, imagine you are photocopying a piece of paper and it's an exact copy of the original. So that's how asexual reproduction works. Now let's talk about sexual reproduction. Unlike asexual reproduction, sexual reproduction requires two parents. One parent provides the sperm and the other provides the egg. So these two types of reproductive cells come together in a process called fertilization. So, why do you think it's important for there to be two parents in sexual reproduction? Um, yes, Ms. Morales. Absolutely right. In sexual reproduction, the offspring inherit a combination of genetic material from both parents. And this results in genetic variation, meaning the offspring won't be identical to either parent. Genetic variation is crucial because it helps species adapt to changes in their environment and increases their chances of survival. So, for example, humans reproduce sexually. A child inherits traits like eye color or hair type from both parents. So, second is dogs, and it is also reproduced sexually. And the puppies inherit characteristics from their mother and father, which is why they look different from each other. And the last, flowering plants. So, like roses, reproduce sexually when pollination occurs and the genetic materials from the pollen combines with the ovule. So think of sexual reproduction like mixing two different colors of paint. So the result is a new color, and it is a unique combination of traits from both parents. So to deepen our understanding of asexual reproduction, we will do a quick pair and share activity. I will group you into two pairs. Each pair will discuss why only one parent is needed for asexual reproduction. So you can think about examples like bacteria dividing or hydra forming buds. So you'll have 2 minutes to discuss, and afterward, I'll ask one member from each pair to share your answer with the class. So ready? Start discussing now. So time's up. Let's hear your thoughts. So for one, yes, Miss Villegas, what did you discuss? Okay, good job. So Miss Morales, for pair 2, good job. Okay, very good everyone. So next, we will work in groups to match cards with either asexual reproduction or sexual reproduction. So your group will receive cards that contain statements, examples, or features of the organisms. So for example, a card might show binary fission in bacteria, and you'll decide whether it belongs to asexual reproduction or sexual reproduction. So each group will have 5 minutes to complete the activity. And after that, we will review the answers together as a class. So, are you ready? Okay, so let's start. So, time's up. Let's go through to the answer together. So, group 1, what did you match for this card? Good job. So, for our group 2, wow, excellent. And for our group 3, very good. So for our last group, group 4, okay, good job everyone. So to summarize, can someone explain one difference between asexual and sexual reproduction? Yes, Miss Reyes. Okay, wonderful responses. Yes, Mr. Nacario. Wow, great idea. Any idea? Yes, Miss Morales. Wow, that's a wonderful responses. So, do you now see why reproduction is essential for survival and diversity in nature? It's truly fascinating, isn't it? So, that wraps up for our session for today. So, great job, everyone.